Hello everyone. When we last left our heroes, we had so thoroughly plundered everything west of the Misty Mountains that we decided to go after some dwarf treasure. I would like to make a slight confession. I messed something up in an earlier earlier attempt to make this video and accidentally walked Frodo into a pit. So I had to redo the area right before Moria, and I redid the fight with the tentacles, so my life totals are not quite what they were at the end of the last video. Oh, great, we're being spied on by some sort of creepy presence. Maybe even creepier than YouTube commentators. As you see, we can't walk in. Perception will just say that it's a star-shaped hole, but we do have a star-shaped key. We've gone quite a bit down, looks like. I think Farmer got hurt in this version, so I'm going to have him eat some rations. Heading along this way. Jump over the pit. And down this way. Paragraph 192 says that though your own light is dim and feeble, countless facets in the sparkling walls reflect and intensify its light until you stand in bright daylight. Mithril, here, countless years ago, the dwarves of Moria delved for the precious metal, and here too did they unleash Durin's vein. We can actually go mining for Mithril. I'll take one as a souvenir. If you take too many items of Mithril, you decide to just stand there and mine until the orcs catch you and you get auto-killed. Surprisingly, Mithril is completely useless to us. I suppose that makes sense. I doubt the Fellowship has the tools, training, or time to actually refine ore, but I would like the opportunity to trade it to one of the smiths in, say, Lorien. Get everyone a set of Mithril armor. I'm only including this bit because I've seen several things online saying that the ice staff is worthless and does not actually protect you from lava. As you can see, we can wander around in the stuff with only, the one damage Gandalf had taken from casting Illuminate earlier. We are completely fine. Now, there are several versions of this game, so maybe it's just a version difference. I'm playing the original, and to be honest, there's nowhere that... I think it really would have been nice if there was somewhere you could have gone with the ice staff that's actually worth going to. Even if it is working, all it really does is save you the hassle of jumping over a few lava pits or going into places that don't have any treasure. And this is why we shouldn't go too deep. That is the Balrog, quite a bit bigger than his human size that the books depict. We could chase him away with either the wizard's staff or the golden wheel, but I think we should fight. He immediately shoots us with a fireball, which does damage to everyone. It's actually proportional to the amount of life, so Gandalf got hit for 15, it looks like. Not everyone, that would have knocked out our hobbits immediately. The Balrog is fast and hard-hitting, but there's only one of him and there's 10 of us. Also, Aragorn with the Athelas can heal up the damage caused by the fireball, which means that we're now in good shape, and we can spread out. I expect we will have had more trouble with the tentacles. Ow. Fortunately, also, the computer doesn't seem to have any sense of target prioritization. It seems to just attack randomly. So while we will focus our attacks, he will just probably attack someone. Okay, Mary got knocked out, but Aragorn finishes off the fire demon. It has a perfectly ordinary sword, which is one of the biggest rip-off rewards of this or any game. I'm going to have Aragorn use some more of the Athelas, just to heal up some of the damage from that fight. And maybe have Merry eat something as well. Does anyone have rations we can give to Aragorn? Yeah. Give Aragorn some food. Paragraph 218. Hidden here in the dancing shadows, you find a great stone chest worked with runes and carved with intricate interwoven designs. I'm also going to have Sam try to give his food to Eric. Forget it. I'll give it to Gandalf instead. Inspect the chest carefully. Well, maybe if someone had detect traps, we could get a bit more mileage out of it. It's definitely trapped. Fortunately, the devices skill that Gimli has can open the chest without incident. We can get another copy of the Lady Token here, which means that it was honestly kind of a waste getting it from the guy in the Forsaken Inn, but that's fine. I'm going to use the ice staff to justify the hassle of getting it from Withywindle's cave. And let's climb on out of here. So having defeated the Balrog like 2 seconds into our foray, the rest of Moria shouldn't be so bad. This, by the way, is where I had Frodo fall to his death like an idiot the first time I tried to make this video. I am not always good at this game. Gimli can tell you where, if you're going up in elevation or down. The first few times I played this game, I did the conversation trees a bit more thoroughly, and people said a dwarf should lead in Moria, so I thought it was only effective if Gimli was actually leading, but as you can see, that's not the case. Paragraph 122. The ring of hammers falls silent as you enter. Dark, evil faces, sweating in the light of fiery forges, glare at you menacingly. As one, the huge Uruks drop their hammers, tongs, and bellows to take up the weapons that they have been forging. Well, this isn't right at all. Uruks are big warrior orcs. They don't forge equipment. That's for Snaga to do. But we can beat them up. I mean, we just killed a Balrog. How much trouble can a handful of Urukai that we outnumber do? Yeah, really. I do think, I've mentioned this before, but I do think the game's balance in combat tends to be more towards annoying and less towards seriously threatening. We have some armor. I'm going to give the magic mail to Sam and trade his instantly resizing chainmail to Glorfindel. I think everyone has armor now, well, except for Aragorn. But if we use perception here, we can find a suit of mithril mail. Because, come on, there had to be a hidden set of mithril armor. I'm going to give it to Aragorn. He killed the Balrog. He should get the shiny shirt. We will keep going onward and upward, hopefully. Most of Moria, honestly, is just wandering around, getting into fights that don't benefit you very much. I am kind of doing a highlight tour. If you wanted to play this fairly, it takes a lot longer. I think I went to the wrong area. I'm having, it's kind of, you probably can't tell from watching the video, but I'm having Aragorn and Gandalf attack different orcs. They usually hit for 10 or more, and it just would be overkill to have them both go after the same guy. Orcs have 15 hit points. I believe Uruk-hai have 21. I've never looked at the game files, though. That's just playing a lot. There was a little trace thing of something triggering. It's related to the lady token, I believe. Paragraph 121 says, carved into the floor in a large area free of dust are the words, "For Durin's child, a sharp eye will show the way." I don't want to fall into the pits. Well, if we can't move it with our hands, perhaps a tool will do. We can pry it open and then use a rope to climb down. Rope is an item, not a skill. But I'm just going to climb back up, setting that up for later. Use perception again to avoid having to fight the troll. Again, a fight avoided is better than a fight won. And I believe I want to go this way. Oh, that was a feeble blow, Gandalf. See, Aragorn kills his guy in one hit, even when it has no damage. Where are we? And you can very easily get lost in Moria, which I probably will, even having played this game a bazillion times. Okay, yeah, this is where I want to go. I'm going to take one brief detour from kind of useful loot finding stuff. If we jump over this chasm, sneak past the orcs, we can eventually find a dwarf named Kiri. Mountain, brought here as torture, which is, well, we will meet Hain later, and I think Hain got the worst of the bargain. Joy. I'd love to rescue him and take him out of here. There's kind of no reason why we would leave him behind. But unless we dismiss someone, we can't have him in the party. And on a purely stat basis, Kiri kinda sucks. No equipment, no magic skills. He actually doesn't have enough strength to use axes, even though that's his only weapon skill. So sadly, we are going to have to leave him behind. If I had more skill in coding, a part of me would like to mod the game so that we could have an unlimited party size, and I could make the game cry trying to animate everyone as we wandered around. Oh, Pippin doesn't have jump. Frodo does, though. Anyway, we will go over here. The dwarven altar has been despoiled and desecrated by the orcs. Do we want to try to cleanse it? Cleansing it seems to be vandalizing orcish stuff. And we wind up here, wherever here is. Oh, good. We wanted to kill this thing anyway, rectify the mistake we made earlier. Unfortunately, we do have to fight 4 trolls. Whoops. One down. So we've done a pretty good job focusing fire, and one of the trolls is badly hurt. I'm actually going to have Gandalf attack a different one, try to finish off that last troll with someone weak. Same thing with Aragorn. There we go. If we had let Hawkeye die and not placated his spirit with the ring in Rivendell, we would be fighting him as well. I think in a separate combat. It's been a long, long while since I let Hawkeye's ghost languish. Stab, slice. Ultimately, numbers count for a lot in this game, and 4 trolls is... We've defeated Moria Doomspirit. I'm going to save right here because sometimes the only way we can leave this area is to walk at this pit, and it doesn't always teleport us like it's supposed to. Yeah, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. The dwarf tongue, as Sam points out, is a real jaw cracker, but it does tell us we're on the 4th level of Moria. We are right now aiming at going up to the 6th level, where some of the magic pools that I can't remember if it was in the library or if Gloin mentioned it, but paragraph 163. The statue of a dwarf here seems out of place in such a grand hall, yet the nobility and strength of character depicted by the stone carver's hands seem to radiate confidence and serenity. The stone murals on the walls show an injured dwarf receiving the ministrations of a dwarven healer. If you go in here, you heal a few hit points. And it can be repeated, so Aragorn probably, yeah, still isn't at full strength. But we can just keep going back and forth until everyone's back to being fully healed. Elsewhere, we have a pool. One of them increased, yeah, I think that one increased our willpower. And the other one will increase our endurance. Because stat boosts are always nice. It didn't actually heal us, but commensurate with the endurance we got. But one last dip in the healing pool will do the trick. And here we go. There we go for the paragraph. This is the Hall of the First Father, the heart of dwarven kind on earth. To your wonder, the orcs have not marred these crypts, as is typical with their kind. There are many stone sarcophagi here, more than you have ever seen before. They are covered in ancient inscriptions written in the secret dwarven tongue. This is no tomb. Gimli draws your attention to a stone marker. In time of great need, the tool of Durin will show the way. Alas, I know not of this marker or its meaning. It was not spoken of in the legends that survived the Hall of Khazad-dûm. It is clearly a barrier of sorts, but to where? Well, we do have the Tool of Durin. And using it, we get paragraph 89. All is black, all is darkness. One does not get a feeling of evil in this place. The only sound here is the echo of a great hammer striking an anvil repeatedly. Suddenly a voice strikes out of the darkness. We are the dead. It is obviously a dwarven voice of great power and majesty. Long we strive to build the mansions of Khazad-dûm. Our arms labor to carve the stone and find the gems and build our mansion. Now time has come and the enemy is struck against us, and the Nogrim are too few to fight, that we shall do so until the last of Mahal's children reach the mansions of the dead. You have come to the domain of Durin, and you have used his artifacts. Therefore you must do Durin's work and make Durin's home ready to receive his children once again. Suddenly you are somewhere else. I do find it interesting that they use the term Nogrim for what is clearly a dwarven thing. Nogrim is a Sindarin word, not a Khuzdul one, and it means like the stunted ones. It's not exactly... I wouldn't think the dwarves would refer to themselves with a racial slur. We also picked up this Sign of Seven word of power. We can trade each. There are 3 dwarven ghosts which are each missing a tool, which will help us get to the chamber without incident. Otherwise some of the people take some damage, and why go through that? This ghost, by process of elimination, is missing the hammer. You can hear the little sound effect showing that we did the good thing. Well, we have returned. Again, wrong use of Nogrim. I believe Loni is mentioned in the books as one of the dwarves that went with Balin's ill-fated attempt to reclaim Khazad-dûm. I think there's something about how he was killed by an arrow. But I guess... And you know, that same passage in the book does mention Durin's axe, although not very clear what it's about. Well, we do have a sign. We only have one axe user, and I believe, yeah, getting the axe gives us some boosts to both willpower and endurance, so stat boosts are always welcome. We can throw out his regular axe to get a much better axe. We should remember to equip it. Yeah, we did that. Ordinarily, you have to go in through the traps and mazes and various puzzles. So, like, the Dwarven Masons of old were true masters of stone, though much of their skills has undoubtedly been lost through the ages. Enough remained for Balin's folk to block up a secret door and make it appear as natural stone. So sturdy is the construction that it appears impassable to all but the mightiest of stonemasons' tools. I just want to show off this little bit. I haven't... You know, one of the things I do love about this game is, despite my nitpicking, they do a good job of making it feel like Tolkien, or at least I think they do, even for the stuff they invent. So for this, you know, for his little riddle, if we ask him about the maker of the dwarves, he doesn't know what Aiul is, which is the Vala in question, but he does know it by the dwarven name of Mahal. But again, Nogrim shouldn't have Nogrim. And there are 7 houses of dwarven fathers, which is how you get in if you don't get teleported by the Hall of the First Father bit. We head back. Here is where we pried open the bar to... That's why I laid down the rope earlier. It makes it easier to get out of here. There are other ways out, but I haven't always been able to make them work reliably. I found that one simple works. We only have one orc here now. a lot of the triggers for random orc attacks are kind of there are certain flags that kick up how many orcs you have. If you are kind of wandering and trip up alarms, you can get a lot of orcs in some of these fights, and it can wear you down. Paragraph 5. This passageway widens into a dark chamber. At its center lies a great circular hole with rusty chains dangling down to the darkness. This was used as some great well of old. 3 arched passageways lead to the east. The leftmost arch descends deeper. The central arch leads on a level course, and the rightmost arch ascends to some higher place. Gandalf seems puzzled. I have no memory of this place at all, and we must choose our path from here carefully. You probably remember this scene from the books, and while I do generally prefer the books vastly to the movies, I do think Peter Jackson did a great thing of Pippin with the well and kind of tips a bit, and then it gets a bit louder, and even more things tip over. Then suddenly a huge rattling noise. 120. Pippin feels curiously attracted by the well. While the others busy themselves in the chamber, he creeps over to the edge of the well and peers over. A chill air seems to strike his face, rising from invisible depths. Moved by a sudden impulse, he gropes for a loose stone and lets it drop. His heart beats many times before there is any sound. Then, far below, as if the stone had fallen into deep water in some cavernous place, there came a plunk, very distant, but magnified and repeated in the hollow shaft. Gandalf growls out, "Fool of a Took, this is serious, not some hobbit walking party. Throw yourself in next time." Finally, Gandalf comes to a decision about the road ahead. "I do not like the feel of the middle way, and I do not like the smell of the left-hand way. There is foul air down there, or I am no guide. We should take the right-hand passage." Well, I'm ignoring him. We came up from the left-hand way, and we are going the middle way. I also do think, it is funny, Pippin's narrative role mostly seems to be doing really dumb things that wind up working out for them. But he is a literal child in his society. So, really, give Pippin some slack. Sometimes I've done this fight more than, in other playthroughs, and there does seem something a bit strange that if you come in from the east, there are more enemies. I think it has to do with the trigger box not being a point, but rather an area. And if areas are off the what you can see in the screen, it just doesn't seem to spawn the enemies. Troll down. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what you were worried about, Gandalf. Easy enough. Don't want to fall into the pit. Just want to save. More random orc fights. More dead orcs. Three Uruks instead of orcs, but still no real threat. Let's see if we can kill them all before they get a swing at us. Maybe not. Sometimes I do have a bit of trouble with the interface. The game seems to like to just have people keep moving in the same direction they were going. Oh, well, we got 2 dead and 1 mostly dead, and if Farmer had gotten his swing in, I'm sure it'd have been fine. Ordinarily, the Balrog would confront you at the end of this bridge, and if you use the Golden Wheel or the Wizard Staff, you get the canonical. Gandalf breaks the bridge and comes out, and we have escaped Moria. This is the environ around Lorien. You will notice it is a lot darker. This is not a bug, it's just a much darker palette set for some reason that I'm not entirely sure of. But having escaped the mines, this brings a natural conclusion to the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time when we explore Lorien and its environs.